So I know many students have already been following these tips for many years, and I thank you. But for those who haven't and might want to try to incorporate these in your own writing, I hope that you'll be able to get a faster, more accurate and friendly response from your professors. Hi everyone, welcome to Tidy TV, where I bring the classroom to you. I'm Hannah John, and today I'm going to share some ideas on how you can make sure you get a reply from your professor via email. Stay tuned. So in one of my earliest Tidy TV videos, I actually shared about how you can write an effective email to your professor. I also shared a template, and so I've been actually quite happy to receive some similar looking emails from my students and also from prospective students. But since the beginning of this semester, for some reason, I've received quite a variety of emails from current students as well as prospective students and even former students. And I did want to provide just another refresher on some tips that would help you to write an even more effective email and for you to actually receive a reply from the person that you're writing to. The first is to make sure you're emailing the right person. Oftentimes, and this is the case with me, there might be more than one faculty member at a university with a similar name. And so sometimes I receive emails from students who don't want to take my class, but want to take another professor's class and is looking for registration. Please make sure you're emailing me correctly. I might even add here that you might want to make sure that I'm the right person to be responding to this type of query or request. Sometimes I do get questions about kind of general administrative issues or things like admissions timeline and where to send admissions or application materials. I'm not the best person to actually be reaching out to about this. You're much better off reaching out to our administrative office or perhaps the chair of the department rather than any individual professor. So you might want to keep that in mind. Now, once you're sure that you're reaching out to the right person, please make sure you spell his or her name correctly. I actually did receive a few emails already this semester where my name was spelled incorrectly in the email. I thought, I may be very biased. My name is fairly easy to write, and so I was a bit confused. But yes, I think there might have been some mix-up between my first name and my last name. But yes, just as a point of reference, please make sure to spell your professor's name correctly, and I'm sure that he or she, all of them, will appreciate that. The next point that I would emphasize is to write an effective subject. And when I say effective subject, I'm going to just talk about 3 potential scenarios of ineffective or relatively less effective subjects and subjects that you might want to avoid in your own emails. The first is no subject. And the reason I say no subject is because it's as if the email and the contents of the email are not worthy enough to have a subject or a heading. And that shouldn't be the case for your email, especially if you're writing to a professor. Another practical reason why you don't want no subject as a subject is because it actually looks like spam. And there have been occasions where I'm very tempted to delete the no subjects, but it does look like a student had been reaching out to me. So that was like your saving grace, that it looked like you were reaching out to me, but you didn't have the time to write a subject. But I checked anyways, but you might not be sure if your other professors might be able to do the same. The second will be having a vague subject. And what I mean by vague subject is something like hello, or greetings, or hi. Anything within that kind of circle of subjects is one that I would try to avoid in your emails. Part of it is not just because it reeks of spam, but actually when it comes to trying to assess or gauge the importance of your email compared to others, it doesn't actually seem as urgent. And so it might just be lower on the list of emails to reply to from the perspective of your professor. The last one is actually having a long or very detailed subject. So long, in fact, that it actually doesn't fit in the proper kind of header, and that you actually have to open the email to see the entire subject. Some examples include a full sentence, or please help me with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And to the extent where it becomes a little bit distracting. If at all possible, it'd be great if you could get to the point, express a bit of urgency within the email, but also something that we feel might be addressable, kind of in the limited time that we do have. I've already expanded on potential kind of effective subjects in my other video, but some great subjects that I could introduce here would be something like request for consultation on comprehensive exam. The next would be to state an action point in your email. The more vague or broad you are in your email, the more difficult it is for us to actually respond to your query, if you have a query. If you're asking for something like a consultation, you should be very clear about this, that you would like to visit me and to chat with me about, for example, narrowing down your research question for your thesis. Now, if that's the case, there are a couple things that you could do in advance to make sure that you receive a reply as soon as possible. The first is, of course, each professor should have stated office hours. You can actually find this in the syllabus of courses, even if you're not taking their courses, so that's a bonus tip from me. If they don't have stated office hours, then you at least know which days they'll be on campus if they're teaching offline. Now, we don't want to stalk our faculty, but again, you're showing that you took the initiative and you did the research in advance to show that you are trying to do your best to match your professor's schedules. So the request could sound something like this. I would like to discuss further about my research question with you. I noticed that your office hours are on Friday afternoons between 2 and 4 p.m. Unfortunately, I have class at that time. If at all possible, would you be available to chat after your class either on Tuesday or Wednesday of, say, either next week or the week afterwards? Try to make yourself as available as possible while also showing that you're trying to match the schedules that are at hand. Another tip I would add here is some professors, especially following kind of COVID-19 and social distancing, are more comfortable meeting either through Zoom or to carry out consultations via email. So please make sure you have some idea of what might be most kind of convenient for your professor and try to do your best to adapt to that. The last one is to personalize the email. This is not so much of an issue with my current students, but especially with prospective students, I get many emails that ask about the program, ask about studying in Korea, and also ask for potential kind of endorsements or letters of intent for advisory. Please be very careful if you're emailing several professors, especially if there are several professors at the same university. I know that you're probably reaching out to more than, just me. But what happened previously was one student had reached out not only to me, but to several professors in our department, one of whom is actually now the president of our university. The president of our university forwarded this email to me, CCing me on the email, saying that I might be better suited to respond to this particular email. Lo and behold, that means I received 2 emails, completely Control-C, Control-V, and only the name had been changed. Now, if I receive that kind of contact, even though I know you might be contacting other professors, yes, when it comes to your sincerity about my own research interests and about this particular program, certainly that might have an impact. So please do keep that in mind. So thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time here on Tadi TV, bye!